Sang-woo is one of the most interesting characters in Squid Game. To this day, he is remembered and has a large fan base. That's why I wanted to dedicate an entire video to him. Today on CharlieTales, we'll analyze the character. Additionally, I'll explain why Sang-woo is the most realistic character in the series. Ready? Let's begin. Sang-woo is a character introduced in the first season of Squid Game. He is considered a villain by many. However, this is not true. In reality, Sang-woo is the perfect representation of a real person. He is not a pure and good man like Ali, nor is he a villain like Player 101. Sang-woo is an ordinary person who fell into misfortune due to the circumstances of his life. From this point, his participation in Squid Game pushes him into darkness. At the beginning of the series, we are shown that he is essentially a good person. When they leave the games the first time, Ali is abandoned along with him. Here, Ali says that he has no money and will walk home. Faced with the situation, Sang-woo gives him money for the bus. Sang-woo didn't gain anything by helping Ali. He genuinely helped him out of empathy. Sang-woo is a good person, but in his life, he made many mistakes that led him to bankruptcy. He made terrible investments while working at an international company. That's why he ended up with a massive debt. But Sang-woo's problem didn't start with money. It began with something deeper. Sang-woo is someone who was always pressured to be the best. The series tells us that he was very intelligent as a child. This allowed him to graduate as one of the top students at the Sangmun-dong Business School. This made everyone have high expectations of him. In several scenes, Sang-woo's mother brags about her son. For example, here a neighbor suggests introducing him to a nice girl who could be his girlfriend, but Sang-woo's mother responds that her son has higher standards. This woman lives dangerously proud of her son. Sang-woo's relationship with his mother is fundamental. He loves his mother more than anything else in life. He cannot bear the idea of disappointing her. The problem is that if Sang-woo doesn't pay his debt, his mother will lose her house and business. Sang-woo cannot endure this situation, and his frustration is so great that he tries to commit suicide by inhaling carbon monoxide. But everything changes when someone rings the doorbell. Here, Sang-woo receives the Squid Game card for the second time. For him, this is a second chance, and he decides to take it. In this scene, Sang-woo shows us how Squid Game works. They target the most unfortunate people and offer these games as the only option in their lives. The organizers sell the illusion that players can leave the games whenever they want. But in reality, our system is designed so that indebted people have no choice. That's why most of those who left during the first vote returned alongside Sang-woo. In the cookie game, we have another important moment. Here, Gi-hun boasts about Sang-woo to the old man Il-nam. He says Sang-woo was a famous prodigy in his town. In this situation, Sang-woo doesn't feel proud. On the contrary, he feels ashamed. Sang-woo is frustrated by the idea that everyone expects great things from him. Sang-woo perfectly represents the myth of meritocracy. He was a poor man with a lot of talent who worked hard his entire life and still failed. Society promised him that if he studied hard, he would go far. But this was an illusion. Meritocracy is not real. This also happened with other characters in the series. Many ended up in the games after struggling in their daily lives, but the same system didn't allow them to move forward. Sang-woo is extremely popular among fans of the series. One reason for this is that he is a highly intelligent character. This is demonstrated in several moments. In the doll game, he is the first to understand how everything works. He discovered that the doll had a motion sensor and managed to outsmart it by hiding behind someone else. He even shared the trick with Gi-hun. In the tug-of-war game, he came up with the idea for everyone to lean forward. This suicidal idea allowed them to win. In the marble game, he betrayed Ali to take his marbles, but he did it with a masterful lie. He took advantage of Ali's innocence for this. I would even dare to say that Sang-woo chose Ali as a partner because he knew that in case of need, he could manipulate him. Ali trusted Sang-woo too much. It's more than evident that Sang-woo is a survival genius. He would have won the games if it weren't for Gi-hun being the protagonist. Of course, Sang-woo is not a hero. He has malice inside him, like all people. Throughout the games, he does evil tricks to win. For example, in the cookie game, he doesn't share his information with the other players. But his malice fully awakens when he betrays Ali in the marble game. This moment is one of the most painful of the season. I don't want to justify Sang-woo at this point, but to be clear, he had no other choice. This was a life or death situation. Unfortunately, he did what he had to do to survive. Squid Game is specifically designed for good people to become corrupted and do whatever it takes to win. From a certain perspective, Sang-woo is not very different from Gi-hun. Let's remember that in that same game, Gi-hun tricked the old man to beat him. Gi-hun took advantage of the old man's dementia to take his marbles. In both cases, there was betrayal, but the series softens Gi-hun's betrayal quite a bit, while emphasizing Sang-woo's. Both characters subtly fall into darkness, but the coincidences of the script make it so that Gi-hun doesn't do as many bad things as Sang-woo. Most of the bad things Sang-woo did were necessary. For example, in the glass bridge game, he pushed a player to win. But if he hadn't done this, everyone would have died. There was no more time. Gi-hun would never have dared to do something as dark as this. Only Sang-woo could. Sang-woo is a character who did what was necessary to win. If Sang-woo had been in the second season, I'm sure he would have quickly discovered the frontman's identity. He was too smart. When we reach the finals of the tournament, Sang-woo is at the peak of his darkness. He coldly kills Se-byuk. The games have completely deformed him. He is no longer the good person who helped Ali with the bus. But of course, he didn't kill her for pleasure. Sang-woo did it because Gi-hun would have been capable of forfeiting the tournament to save her. And if that happened, everyone would have gone home without money. The Squid Game organization knew this. That's why they left knives at their final dinner, so they would kill each other. The game is designed to bring out the darkness in people. It's similar to what happened with the frontman. He was a good man who suffered tragedies in his life. But in Squid Game, he became fully corrupted. Sang-woo is not a villain. He is not against Gi-hun. He doesn't hate Gi-hun, but he must defeat him to achieve his goal. In the tournament's final, Sang-woo loses. But Gi-hun is willing to forfeit the prize to save his life. In this situation, Sang-woo decides to commit suicide. This way, Gi-hun will have no choice but to take the money. Before dying, Sang-woo asks Gi-hun to take care of his mother. This scene shows us Sang-woo's heart. Even in his final moments, he thought of his mother. Sang-woo's suicide was not a decision born of pure kindness. Once again, he demonstrated his great intelligence. He knew Gi-hun was a good person. If Gi-hun got the money, he would help his mother. Sang-woo didn't need proof of that. He was sure of it. Even in his last moment, Sang-woo showed us how brilliant he was. Even in his greatest weakness, he made the smartest move to win. Sang-woo died, but he left knowing his mother would be okay. With that in mind, he won. In conclusion, Sang-woo is a legendary character. For me, he's one of the best in the series. I would even dare to say he was the best. I would have loved to see someone of his level in Season 2, but unfortunately, it didn't happen. That's all for today. If you liked the video, you'd really help me out by leaving a like. That would be legendary. Also, remember to subscribe to see more videos like this. Thanks for listening. My name is Charlie, and I'll see you in the future.